Hello, my name is Matt Baker, and I've been asked to discuss 3 to 5 big ideas covered in the readings and the videos for this module. In truth, I'm not sure that there are 3 big ideas here. In fact, I think that the information in the module is all sort of pointing to a single idea, and that is the importance of getting to the root of the problem so you can make a good decision about whether or not training is the best solution, is part of a broader strategy, or is just simply something that's not going to address the problem in a meaningful way. So I guess my first big takeaway, though, is that when facing a problem, not to jump too soon to a solution because you're likely to miss important context, texture, nuance, or some other factor that ought to be considered. Slow down and do a deeper engagement with the problem at hand. And that takes me to my second big takeaway, which is the 5 whys. I really like the 5 whys. This is a great down and dirty way to give structure or frame an interrogation. Kids are really good at this. I have a 3-year-old. He's at the stage now where he just keeps asking, why? Not that he understands what I'm saying. And this can be very annoying, but it can also be effective in getting to sort of the crux of the problem. So again, training may not be what is needed. The real problem could be something procedural, a capacity issue, something else altogether. And so I guess my third takeaway here is just really a point of emphasis. And what I want to emphasize is that this process, which is often referred to as needs assessment or needs analysis, is, I think, the most important part of their instructional design process. And it's really not a good idea to rush through it, but taking your time at this point in the game, at this stage in the process, will save some headaches down the road. Right, because we should be less interested in quick fixes, administering band-aids, than in creating real, meaningful, which is to say, effective and sustainable solutions. So anyone in the nonprofit field, that's where I work, is in the nonprofit sphere. If you're not trying to work yourself out of a job, it's just my opinion, you're doing it wrong. I think we need better solutions, real solutions, and less bureaucracy, fewer administrators, fewer managers. Although, of course, those things are important in the short to midterm. Okay, so here's a problem. About 15 years ago in the organization I work for, there was a recognition that robust local leadership was on the decline. Now, obviously, I wasn't around during that time, so I have no idea what the discussion was like, or what the depth of analysis was at the time. But I do know that the decision was made to create a bureau, a small bureau, staffed at headquarters with a couple people to take a look at it and think about and address that issue. And now, that may have been the right thing to do at the time, or it may not have. I'm not sure. But that problem that they identified at that time has not gone away, and that is there is a shortage of local leaders across the territory. All right, so if you do the 5 whys, I wrote these down. Okay, so that's the problem. There's a shortage of local leaders across the territory. Why? Because leaders are not being recruited, trained, and sustained. Yeah. Why? Why aren't those things happening? Because those who are responsible for leadership development do not know it is their responsibility or how to do it. Thus, it is not being delivered locally. But why? Because they were never told or never shown how, or both. Bureaus and positions were created where systemic solutions were needed. Why? Because these things are not necessarily taught informally nor taught at the College for Officer Training. The organization is resistant to change. Why? Other things are prioritized. Lost cultural knowledge. The system was designed that way. So these are somewhat unsatisfactory responses. And to be perfectly honest, I could provide a number of different responses to each of these prompts, and those would in turn produce even further responses, so that if you were to sort of fully elaborate this whole process, it would start to look less like a straight line. It would become less linear and more like a tree or a bush or something, where some of the responses would point back to earlier responses. It's all a bit of a tangled mess. And this is one of the things I think that you get when a problem is systemic, right? So training and resourcing may very well be one part of a larger strategy. In this case, there cannot really be said to be a single root cause. There's just a larger matrix of issues and problems. And so really a larger systems analysis is necessary. But that is far above my pay grade. Yeah. Okay, I've talked for twice as long as I should have. My apologies. I'm going to wrap this video up. Have a great day.